Let's be honest, you're probably not supposed to be on YouTube right now. In fact, I'm guessing that you have at least one major project or paper that's looming over your head and you're avoiding doing it because you literally have zero motivation to get it done. But don't worry, you're not alone. This happens to everyone, including myself. So over time, I naturally developed a simple 5-step process that completely destroys my procrastination, even when I have literally zero motivation and every ounce of my brain is telling me not to be productive. And I found that by simply following this process, I can get anything done every time, regardless of my levels of motivation. And it's this 5-step process that I want to share with you today. Now, obviously, the best long-term solution to procrastination and motivation is to simply build better habits and self-discipline. However, the process that I'm going to show you will help you in the short term to skip all of that and will motivate you to get anything done right now. So let's jump right into it with step number 1, which is engage in 10 to 20 minutes of physical activity. Now, what exactly this physical activity entails is going to be different for everyone. For you, this might mean, taking a short walk, a 20-minute walk outside, while someone else might prefer doing 20 minutes of yoga or some sort of light weightlifting. Now, for me, 90% of the time, this means playing basketball. And I don't mean anything intense here, right? I just mean 20 minutes of shooting around, maybe doing some dribble drills, just something to get the blood flowing and get my heart pumping. The reason I do this, whether it's basketball, going for a walk, or laying outside, is because all physical activity has almost a supernatural calming effect on the mind. And doing this as a way to simply remove excessive external stimuli and prep your mind to get ready for deep, focused work. Now let's move on to step number 2, which is what I call environmental declutter. So in my personal workspace, I tend to have a lot of stuff, whether that's books, papers, notes, my computer. It's all kind of scattered around. And I know that if left as is, this clutter is going to affect my motivation on a subconscious level. For example, I'll take everything off my desk, organize it, give the desk a clean wipe down, and even give the surrounding area a quick little vacuum if need be. If you work at a desk that is inside of your bedroom, you might also want to consider organizing the rest of your bedroom as well, putting away excessive clothes, making your bed, little things like that. For me, this works because it further removes any excessive external stimuli and gives me a clean area to literally focus only on the work that's in front of me. After you've gotten in some physical activity and you've cleaned your immediate workspace, we're going to move on to step number 3, which is what I call task prioritization. And this is where I will take pen to paper and literally write down as simply as I can exactly what I need to accomplish. If that's scripting this video, for example, I'll write first draft script of motivation video. Now the key here is that I said first draft because scripting a video for me is a 4-step process. However, I'm choosing to only focus on the first draft, which is step number 1 of this entire process. Also consider that in the back of my mind, I have 30 other things going on that I need to do throughout the day besides scripting the video. However, I've reduced it down from these 30 things to one thing, which is writing the script, to even one smaller step of writing the script, which is just the first draft. Essentially, what you're doing is breaking down all of your tasks and putting them in small, bite-sized pieces and focusing on one at a time. And this is extremely important because if you're already feeling unmotivated, then it's going to be impossible to avoid procrastination if you're thinking about all the major things you have to do and all the steps that go into them. And now we move on to step number 4, which is a big one, and it's what I call start imperfectly. The best example I have for this is when I used to work in sales. Now, my schedule in sales was completely ambiguous. I could come and go as I pleased, and if I didn't want to work, I didn't have to work. You can start to see the issue here in that when you're feeling unmotivated to go to work and you're not required to go to work, you're probably not gonna go. Point being is that it was much easier to motivate myself and force myself to go to work when I decided to start imperfectly and I said to myself, I'll just go into work for an hour even if I'm not motivated and even if I do a bad job and don't make any sales. Now, contrast that to my original thoughts, which were I need to go into work for 8 to 10 hours and make 20 plus sales. Hopefully you can see that that second thought process is much more stressful and much more likely to drain my motivation. So in essence, and to wrap all of that up, starting imperfectly means taking a task that is way too large and way too big, and it means shrinking it down into something that's much more manageable. Because remember, it is usually far easier to improve upon something that was originally done imperfectly and then make it perfect than it is to do something perfectly the first time through. And that then brings us to our final step in the process, which is what I like to call scheduling evaluation points. So sticking with my sales job example for this one, after I forced myself to go into the office and committed to working, albeit imperfectly, I would immediately set a reminder on my phone for 1 hour later. And after an hour later, once that reminder hit, I'd immediately take a 5-minute break and reevaluate myself. This means asking myself questions like, how motivated am I? How productive have I been this past hour? And then most importantly, do I want to stay for just 1 more hour? And the answer to that final question was almost always, yes, I will stay for 1 more hour, and then I will reevaluate myself again after that. What I found is that even though I was feeling extremely unmotivated during that first hour, after about 4 or 5 evaluation points, my motivation kept slowly increasing, and I eventually just decided to say, to the hell with it, you know, I'm staying for the entire 8 or 10 hours today. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is our 5-step process, but I also want to quickly note one often overlooked reason why it is very important to motivate yourself to do things even when you don't want to. And the reason is this. In my sales job, my most successful days, I'm talking about the days when I was breaking records and making tons of money, came on the days when I was literally this close to not going into work at all. And I've noticed that I'm not the only one that this happens to. So it sounds sort of strange, and I can't really explain why it is this way, but it seems that oftentimes when you are most resistant to doing something is when it is most important for you to actually do it. Because these are the times when you're going to have the biggest breakthrough and when you're going to find your biggest levels of success. But I have no scientific evidence to support this, and it's very possible that I'm suffering from something like confirmation bias or the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. But at the very least, you can use this information as just another piece of motivation to get you started. Just think to yourself, what if today is the day that could change it all, but I miss it because I don't even try? Now, I also want to encourage you to go to lifeline.coach, because there I have created a custom habit tracking spreadsheet. And this habit tracking spreadsheet allows you to create your own beautifully customized and unique habit tracker with zero spreadsheet experience. It's free, and the link is in the description below. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because it's just right here. Also, check out these links. The top one here is recommended by YouTube. The bottom one, my recommendation. As always, I want to remind you to work hard, be organized, and stay consistent. And I'll catch you next video. Bow. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.